I'm Tamara Carlisle, a board member. We're here in the gallery my partner and I own called Commerce Gallery in Lubbock, Texas. I started on the board of Central Texas Table of Grace 3 years ago. And it was all due because I had seen an article on Stacy Johnson in Austin Women. I was at a doctor's office, and so I read her story, and we started um, wanting to make just a Christmas donation. So Blairfield Realty, where my partner owns a real estate company, we made a sizable donation. That's where we met Stacy and was able to tour the emergency shelter. At the time, it had 13 beds. It still has 13 beds. We met with some kids. We met with some counselors, and I was immediately moved to become extremely more involved in Table of Grace. So from there, I reached out to Stacy and I said, we made a donation, but I would love to be considered to be part of the community in a much more involved way. I really would love to be a board member. And so we had lunch, and she said, that's a great idea, but what we really need is places for kids when they get pushed out of foster care or they age out of foster care. We need a place for these kids to land. And it was just like a light bulb went off. We were sitting at a vinaigrette in Austin having lunch, and I was like, "Oh, like tiny homes?" She said, "Exactly." And from there, Stacy and I put together the beginning of Grace 365, which is for kids aged out of foster care. Right now, we have um, 12 young adults in apartments while we're working on developing 12 to 14 tiny homes at new land that we bought in Round Rock. And so that's where it's been. One of the big pushes to get Grace 365, off and going. When my daughter was young, when she was about 8 or 9, she's like, "Mom, we should help these foster kids." This is kind of the first time I heard about it. And so we became what was called a respite family. That means when um, kids are in foster care, those parents also need a break. So we would take, it was two little boys, and we would have them for the weekend or maybe just an overnight. We did that for about a year with these two little boys to help their foster parents have a little rest. So I was involved in that program for about a year and a half. Yeah, that is for sure. We almost went into what it would take to become a foster parent, but I think I'm better able to serve being on a board member, heading up fundraisers, working on the business side, because um, I think if I had one, I would probably have to have 20 kids under my care. And I don't know if I could have that all on my plate. Sure, I'll tell you a couple things. One of the powerful things happened during snow apocalypse, which was um, a, in February. Was that 2 years ago? I guess is February. Um, and Stacy called and said, "Tam, in our shelter is in Round Rock, and we're in Austin. We need help. We got to get the kids out of the shelter. There's no heat. There's no electricity. I can't find anybody to help me. Do you have a four-wheel drive, and can you help?" And at that point, my partner Donna does have a four-wheel drive. We said we'll be there. We went right away. This is before all the supermarkets shut down. So I bought $1,000 worth of food because I knew they didn't have enough food, and loaded up 3 carts. Nobody was even at the store. There was like maybe 2 workers at Randall's. Filled up the Forerunner, and somehow we made it to Round Rock, and we started toting the kids. Um, we took 2 different carloads. Another gentleman joined from Round Rock to help, but we took some of the kids to Stacy's home, and then we took some of the kids to one of the counselors' place. And literally, when we got those 13 kids out, the the pipes burst in the shelter and flooded the shelter. Um, those kids were scared, they were cold, and they were lonely, very, very scared. Um, the next day, after we got that down, we know we needed to get back up the Round Rock, and so we were able to source some more food. So because we didn't know how long it was going to last, and so we went back to Round Rock. with as much as we could find at any gas stations that were open, any place to just have a box of cereal, some SpaghettiOs, whatever we could find, and arts and crafts, anything that we could bring from our house, extra blankets, extra pillows, and traipse back up to Round Rock to deliver goods, because Stacy was housing so many people at her home, as well as I mentioned, another counselor's house. So that was treacherous, but it was really powerful to be there for Table of Grace, most especially for the kids, to provide for them. When we started Grace 365, it was just an idea. I don't even think we had $100 at the time. And so we did a fundraiser at our home that I had up, and it was incredibly greatly attended. We raised tons of money. We were able to give just a really architectural sketch of what we were thinking about on building tiny homes with a community center, community garden. And this was years ago. People got so excited. Now, fast forward, we have a beautiful piece of property in Round Rock. We have an architect that is doing the plans. We do have the capital funds to start phase 1, phase 2 on building the homes. But in between the idea and us breaking ground over these past several years, we were able to get grant money and some funding from our incredible uh, patrons of our movement, and we were able to open 12, and it could be 13 now, apartments. And so I was extremely involved in the beginning by bringing in all the furniture for apartment number 1 and apartment number 3 with friends and family. So I would just call my friends, hey, we need towels, we need toilet paper, we need a hair dryer, we need everything for these kids. Because when the kids get out of foster care, they don't have anything. They don't have anybody, else they wouldn't be in foster care, and they don't have any things. They might have just a small suitcase, and they're 18. So when they come into these apartments, they have a comfortable couch, they have a beautiful sheets, they have things that are new and not just half-used toothpaste. They have everything for the kitchen, and we also provided, a good amount of food to get them started. I've always found people want to help; they just want to be directed. They don't want to have just an open like, "Hey, can you help Table of Grace?" They want to say, "Hey, we need um, pots and pans and silverware. Can you donate that and drop it off on my front porch for this apartment?" Or, "Hey, we need for you to buy one ticket to our fundraiser that we're having in the spring of 2023, and come join and learn more." They people do want to help, but they really want to be able, at least in my experience, to have kind of a call to action, and that they can buy, purchase, or even donate time. Christmas. I love Christmas. I love the feeling of Christmas. I love giving gifts, and being able to share happiness with everyone, family and friends. I love Christmas morning. I love Christmas Eve. I love Christmas decorations. Um, I count down the days of Christmas. I love Christmas music. I'm going to probably start breaking into a tune right now of one of the Christmas songs. Well, this is going to date me, so I'm going to do some 70s rock like Free Bird by Leonard Skinner. I'm going to do some disco, Don't Leave Me This Way by Thelma Houston. That's not to say I don't know what's happening in 2022, but the 70s kind of was my jam. I am definitely a person that puts up all the Christmas decorations the day after Thanksgiving. Okay, that's good.